And then you rolled back to Iraq.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything in workup? Any spectacular? You're giving me that look. Most people that I put through workup give me that look.
So, hey, having working for Jocko, you know, eyes were going to be on me. Naturally, I put it on myself. One of those self-inflicted pressures that he's going to expect me to perform at a higher level, given the amount of combat experience I had had. And you had, by that point, drastically changed how the West Coast SEAL teams prepare for war. And it was, it was good pressure. I like pressure. I like when somebody holds me accountable. And, I think Echo and I were talking about this. You have a very uncanny way of having a conversation without saying a word. And you sort of, the eyebrows come down lower and you just stare. And what I've said is like, you would do that and look at me during the training and be like, hey, here's the standard for everyone else. Here's your standard. Get it done. Good talk. And so, there were probably runs where I was harder on myself than you were, but I do remember MOUT, Military Operations Urban Terrain, specifically in Kentucky, and that was some of the best training we'd gone through. And again, that was drastically different than the prior workup prior to Ramadi. And for the guys that had not seen combat, given what happened on the next deployment, that absolutely prepared us for what happened. Yeah.
I mean, coming back, that was so ideal for me to go back and run training. I mean, there's no better job I could, and that's, I was really lucky that I had a good relationship with the Admiral, and he said, like, where do you want to go? And I said, I want to go run TRADET because I need to get these guys ready. Because when we got back, Ramadi wasn't done yet. It ended up finishing up pretty quickly thereafter, but I was just thinking, hey, everyone's going to be going back and doing the same thing for the average counterinsurgency lasts 7 years. This started 6 months ago. We got like many years worth of fighting, and these guys need to be ready for that specific thing that I know how to do. And so I need to go run that training, and that's what I did. And I was definitely, it's funny because like when you're talking about there was a lot of buddy carrying going on when I was running training, and the reason is because I got the debrief, I knew it's like, this is going to be, if you get in this situation, it's not what you think it is. It's going to be hell. And how do you prepare for it? You prepare for it. You make this as close to combat as you can possibly make it. Then that was my goal, and it was freaking hard training. And I had so many guys come back over the years after that when I was running training that were like, hey, I just got back from Afghanistan. Thank you. And the firefights were literally easier than going through a block of land warfare. They would be so stoked, and it was awesome. That's like the best compliments I've ever gotten in my life, was having those guys come back. And also I was just talking to, as a matter of fact, I was talking to the guy that told me that you were good to go the other day, and he's like, oh, we would have had so many blue on blues if we didn't go through that workup. We were so much better. We were so prepared, and they had a freaking hardcore deployment to Afghanistan, and they kicked ass. And he's like, yeah, we were totally good to go because that training set us up. And so that was a real honor for me to be able to get to do that. But yeah, I was also a little bit still, like I remember, and I've talked about this before on the podcast, but like I'd be in Mount, like watching urban training going on, and I'd see like a new guy or something like standing in the middle of the street, and I would literally feel like a sickness in my stomach, like a pit. Like just like when I was in Ramadi, if you'd see someone on the street, you'd be like, dude, get off the street. I would have that feeling. And so when I'd go over and talk to him, it would generally be like pretty hostile. Like, bro, what the hell are you doing? You're in the middle of the street. Get out of here. You're going to get freaking killed. And so, yeah. It was good, and it was good that we put you guys through that, because you guys went right back into the fire on that next deployment.